What is up? What is going on, everybody? Let's talk a little Seattle Seahawks because they play a football game in about 4 hours here. So we've got a Thursday night football match between the Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. Before I get started, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Two free, easy ways to help support this channel. So, how can the Seahawks win tonight? What's a way that they can do something to maybe pull off the upset here? And I've got one way that maybe there's something here the Seahawks can do that can help get them a W. Do I think Seattle's going to win this football game tonight? I do not. Dallas is a better team top to bottom. More than likely, Dallas will win this football game. Vegas has them as a 9-point favorite for a reason. So before any Cowboys fans come on here and get on me, listen, I'm trying to look for something maybe Seattle can do to help them win this football game. So, of all teams in the NFL, nobody targets their number one receiver more than the Dallas Cowboys, at least in terms of ratio from what their number one guy gets in targets to the number two guy. CeeDee Lamb has been targeted more, almost double the amount of times that their number two target receiver has been targeted. That would be tight end Jake Ferguson's the number two target receiver. CeeDee Lamb's number one. He's been targeted almost double than Ferguson has. That was a long-winded way to say that. So Cowboys love going to CeeDee Lamb. Makes sense. CeeDee Lamb's one of the best receivers in the game. And truthfully, Dak Prescott, you could probably make a case, is a front runner for the MVP this season. He has been that good. So that absolutely makes sense that they would go to CeeDee Lamb. But one thing Seattle's been pretty good at is slowing down teams' number one wide receivers. They haven't been great at much, but they have slowed them down. Let's go back to the Cincinnati game. Jamar Chase, 6 catches, 80 yards on 13 targets. The Arizona game, Hollywood Brown, 3 catches, 49 yards on 7 targets. Cleveland, Amari Cooper, 6 for 89, 11 targets. Zay Flowers, 1 catch for 11 yards on 1 target. Terry McLaurin, 4 catches, 33 yards on 8 targets. The Rams, this one not as impressive. Cooper Kupp had 1 catch, 11 yard, got hurt. Puka Nacua had 5 catches for 70 yards and touchdown, 7 targets. Not a bad game by any means. That's a solid game, but nothing, extreme there. And then Brandon Ayuk, who leads the Niners in receiving, almost at 1,000 yards on the year, 2 catches for 50 yards on 4 targets and a touchdown. Nacua had a touchdown as well, if I didn't mention it. Now, listen, maybe outside of Burrow and Chase and maybe the Niners there, I don't know if you've got a group as talented as Dak and CeeDee Lamb there, right? Like, I would say this is probably the biggest test coming up tonight that the Seahawks have faced. But the bottom line is they've done pretty well against number one wide receivers. Even the games that were somewhat decent, Chase 6 for 80 on 13 targets, no touchdowns. If CeeDee Lamb ends this game with 6 catches for 80 yards, do I think Seattle wins again? Probably not, but that's probably good enough to at least give yourself a shot, right? Like, I think you can live with that, especially if it's on, figure 10 to 15 targets. Where teams have been killing Seattle's more over the middle, using their linebackers who are great run stuffers, but weaker in coverage. And I don't know if Dallas necessarily has the weapon to do that as much. If you remember in the Washington game, Brian Robinson killed Seattle out of the backfield. I could see Tony Pollard doing something very similar tonight. So listen, overall, Dallas is better, right? They're fourth in total DVOA. Offense is 10th, defense is third overall. Seahawks are 17th total in DVOA, 18th on offense, 22 on defense. It's a mismatch, even offensively versus defense. Like, Dallas has the overall advantage. They're better in the trenches. I don't see Seattle getting a ton of pressure. And even though, yes, CeeDee Lamb is their heavily number one target, they do have other options as well. And listen, CeeDee Lamb may just be good enough to beat this team. But Seattle's secondary's played pretty well this year, right? Devin Witherspoon's had an outstanding rookie year. Trey Brown has come back from the injury and been very solid. I think Reek Woolen has definitely taken a step back. He hasn't been terrible, but it's definitely taken a step back. Julian Love's been all right, and you have Adams and Diggs there as well. So I do think there is, a path there where Seattle is able to slow CeeDee Lamb down, that they can maybe have a shot, right? And that's all I'm looking for, ways that Seattle can have a shot in this game. And that would be one of them. And they are probably is done as good a job as any team this year, number one wide receiver. So maybe there is a chance there. Do I think Seattle wins tonight? No, I don't. But I do think, looking at this matchup a little bit, it might be a little closer than people think. Looking at that spread, last time I saw it, it was at 9. I think Seattle can cover that. I do think there's a decent chance they do cover that spread. And another thing is Abe Lucas possibly coming back. Any little talent gain you can have is huge. That should be a massive, massive upgrade for them at right tackle. And maybe that helps a little bit with Micah Parsons. Charles Cross has been the number one rated left tackle by PFF over the last 3 weeks. So, maybe with Lucas back, assuming he's back, and Cross playing better, maybe you can neutralize Micah Parsons a little bit, and maybe you can slow down CeeDee Lamb, and maybe all of a sudden we have ourselves a ball game. So we'll see what happens. I'll be here for the post-game recap. Have a great Thursday, everybody. Like I said, remember to comment your thoughts on the game. Remember to like and subscribe as well. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the game tonight, and go Hawks. Peace.